Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today we are doing something a bit nostalgic, at least for me it is. As a kid, you could sit me down on the floor with a bucket of Legos and I could go to town for hours coming up with crazy stuff to make. I thought I would try and attempt to make a head off of one of the Lego men, but I wanted to kind of put my own little spin on it, so I decided that I was going to combine a Lego head with a Deadpool. Now, I'm sure that there are Deadpool Legos out there, but I'm going to go for a torn kind of mask revealing part of Wade's messed up face. No offense, Wade, but and make a Deadpool Lego head. And I made a template. Let's get to building. Sometimes I'm lucky and I'm able to look at a prop and find shapes that I have on hand that resemble at least close to that object. It just so happened that I had a glass bowl that looked exactly like the top of a Lego head. To template this bowl, I just cover it with foil and then tape over the top of that with some masking tape. Once it's covered fully with tape, then I mark seam lines and areas where I know that I'm going to need darts to flatten out the shape. Basically, I'm just hitting high points or anywhere where there's a curve, or like the center of this bowl where it flattens out is a perfect spot for the stud on the top of the head. Once I trace the tape and foil template to my poster board, it's then ready to transfer to my materials. These are the pieces you see in the free downloadable templates that I offer in the description, just taped onto a piece of paper and scanned into my computer. I'm using some white 4mm EVA foam and using a yellow paint marker. I'm not using a Sharpie because it'll bleed through the paint of light colors. Now I just need to heat form my pieces over something round so that my seams don't pull against each other and it'll have less gaps in it. For assembly of the parts, I apply some contact cement on the edges and I give it a minute or two to set up. Then I close up the large darts first and using my registration lines to help me line everything up. I work down the line A, B, C, D for the top and the bottom of the head. Then the stud, yeah, that's what the top little peg on the man's head in all Legos is called, is simply a cylinder. I didn't template out this large strip of 4mm EVA for two reasons. It would take up at least 2 or 3 pages on a template and it's just a rectangle. So the dimensions for this for my template is 4 inches tall and 28.5 inches wide. If you reduce the size of the template to fit smaller heads, just take a seamstress measure tape and after the top is assembled, measure the outside at the largest part. The collar at the bottom of the head will also be different for every person. To figure out how large you need this strip to be, measure the circumference of your head. So using that seamstress tape, I wrap it around my head and then I added 2 inches to whatever that measurement was. Because the opening is round, you need a little bit of wiggle room so that your head can squish through. To do the Lego logo, I just used a ruler and slanted the lines to give me a starting point. Then I just freehanded the letters. If you want it to be super accurate, you could print off an overhead look of the stud and then size it to your circle and cut out the letters to use as a template. I wanted my letters to be just a little bit thicker, so I just freehanded it for my reference image. So this is the base of the build. You could stop here and just paint a normal face on it or even make a custom paint job, but I wanted to add a little bit of layers to mine to add some dimension to his face. So I am drawing on some areas that my mask will be ripped out. Then I glue a piece of new foam underneath on the inside to fill that hole. Two coats of white Plasti Dip to seal it. Then I masked off the face areas and hit it with the base color of red for his mask. I couldn't just keep it simple and leave his mask a flat color, so I decided to simulate fabric. To do this, I'm making a roller that I'll use to add little squares to make it look like cloth. I cut out a small piece of 48mm EVA dowel and super glued this cabinet liner to it. Then I rolled it in paint, or you could brush it on with a brush, and then just simply roll it across the surface that you want to add this texture to. Then I take some yellow Plat Effects paint and color my Lego man's skin that typical jaundicey skin tone. Because I'm painting on a white surface, it only took one coat, which is pretty awesome for a light color like yellow. And I just went in and hand painted the rest of the details onto the head. I went for a simplistic Lego style paint job and kept my painted details to almost look like some cell shading, kinda. I used a few pictures of Deadpool from the recent movies and made up my own kind of version of Wade's scarred up face. Last step is to cover my eyes up with some sheer material on the inside of the Lego head. The mask side gets a white patch and the yellow flesh side gets the traditional black eye. I used hot glue instead of super glue because it has a tendency to bleach out fabric colors. So for the white it wasn't a big deal, but for the black it would have distorted the color around the edges where the super glue touched. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Now, I want to point out a couple of things that'll probably make it different for you if you decide to build this or make your own iteration of it. The neck on mine had to be this wide because I have a large old head and it wouldn't fit in otherwise. So definitely your neck could go in a little bit and it would probably be in better proportion with your body, or at least proportion with the Lego Man head, and make it look a little closer to accurate scale. But other than that, the template is not Deadpool specific. It's just a base Lego head. So I would love to see you guys take this template and make something with it. I'm not issuing a challenge or anything, but I think it would be super cool to see you guys take this base helmet and kind of turn it into something your own. Maybe make your favorite character or a famous person, or put a spin on it that maybe would be interesting. Or if you'd like to see me try to make some more of these guys and just do some paint tutorials, let me know in the comments below. Maybe you will try and make one of these Deadpool Lego heads yourselves and impress your friends with your ability to regenerate your entire body even though it's been decapitated from your head, or can by default go on any other pronged surface and make a monstrosity. Just saying. Maybe you'll get some.
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these. Tell them, much props. It's a snug around my head. Peace.